Hello, welcome back. Today I'm tackling a popular issue, which is how you can save money for a house whilst renting. It is a dream of many here in the UK to one day own their own home. But with house prices on the rise and rents going the same way, it can feel like an impossible task. But there are people that manage it every day, and with the right steps in place, it can become a reality for you too. Welcome back to Looking After Your Pennies YouTube channel. I'm Charlotte Jessup and I am a financial educator. Through this channel, as well as my other platforms, I educate you around saving money, making money, budgeting, investing, pensions, and a whole load more. We all have gaps in our financial education, whether this is from schools not teaching us these things or the gaps in our own parents' financial education. In this video, I will be discussing my favourite tips and strategies to help you save for your own home while renting. In this video, you can expect how much do you really need to save? So we're going to take a look at exactly how much it costs to buy your own home. Next up, we're going to look at ways that you can reduce your expenses to help you save more money. Then we're going to look at how you can improve your income. And finally, we're going to look at the other options that are out there to help make this a reality sooner. Like any problem, it can feel really daunting when you look at it in its entirety. However, broken down into smaller chunks, it can feel much more manageable. So rather than looking at the tens of thousands that you might need to save, instead break it down. Focus on that first £500 and then 1,000 and then try out some of these steps. So first up, let's look at how much you really need to save to buy your first home. So this is an important starting point. When goal setting, you need to know what you are aiming for. Otherwise, that goal amount is likely to get further and further away. You'll feel like you are never gonna have enough, and that's because you'll be constantly moving the goalposts. Unfortunately, when it comes to buying a home, you're going to need more than just the deposit for the house. So let's have a quick look at some of the other things you will need to pay for. So the first one is the deposit. Most first-time buyers will want to aim for about 10%. There are other options out there where you could save less, and I will talk a little bit about these later, but some of you might even want to aim for 20 to 25%. Number two is a valuation fee. You probably want to budget around £250 for this. It might be less, in which case you can pocket that cash. So this fee is for somebody to go out, look at your home and make sure it's worth what you are paying for it. Essentially, your mortgage provider will want to know that if for whatever reason you can't pay for it, that they could sell the house and recover their money. Some lenders do this for free. Number three is survey fees. So this is an inspection of the house for any damage, damp, subsidence, or any other things that could possibly be wrong with the house. Now, depending on the level of detail you want them to go into, and this is likely to be determined by the age of the house, the fee for this can cost anywhere between £400 to £1,000. If you need a specialist to go out and take a closer look at a particular thing, then this might incur further costs. Number four is legal costs. Now this is normally one of the biggest expenses outside of your deposit, and you're probably looking at between £400 to £2,000 for this. This will cover things like getting all the paperwork in order, sorting out the surveys, instructing your mortgage provider, and collecting the stamp duty on your behalf. So number five is stamp duty. So currently in May 2021, you'll pay no stamp duty on properties up to £500,000. But this will change over the course of the year, starting from July. So you need to be aware that you might have to pay some stamp duty. Number six is arrangement fees. So this is for setting up your mortgage. Now there are two types of fees you could get charged here, and you need to expect to pay anything up to about £2,500. You may have some options available that are fee-free or to include this within your mortgage. Number seven is the land registry fee. Now this one varies depending on the value of the property, and essentially what it does is changes the official name of the owner of the property on the official records, and you need to budget for anything up to about £500 for this one. Number 8 is broker's fees. So if you've used a mortgage broker to help arrange your mortgage, then they may charge you a fee. Some do and some don't, but you should never pay up front for a mortgage broker. This should be paid at the end. This could cost anything up to about £500. And then finally, you will need to consider your moving costs. This will be everything from hiring a van to a removal team to maybe cleaning your old apartment, cleaning your new house, or even getting that takeaway on the first day, or some new items of furniture once you're in. There are some great calculators online that can help you work out how much these things might cost for your particular property or the particular value of property that you are looking at. It's a good idea to work out these costs so that you have that figure in mind to work towards, that magic number. So how can you reduce your expenses? So now you know what you are aiming for, it's time to create some space in your budget so that you can send that difference to your house saving pot. Now this can be tricky when renting, particularly if you are doing so in an area where the rental costs are high. Now rather than counting the pennies, I recommend that you focus on the ones that are going to have the biggest impact. And I think that the following are the ones that you should be paying most attention to. So first up is rent. If your current rent is high, then it may be worth considering downsizing or moving to a cheaper location. It could be that you have enjoyed living in a really nice place for a certain period of time, but now you can afford to reduce the size of the property that you are in the short term so that you can get that savings pot built up. Some people even consider moving in with family and friends so that they can really accelerate the rate at which they are saving. Reflect on the space that you need and the situation that you are prepared to live in to ensure that it is sustainable. Next up is utilities. These are things like gas, electricity, water, phone, broadband, TV. Now, if you've not been keeping an eye on these, it could be that the costs for these have crept up over time. And there could be some real savings to be had. Use a cashback based comparison tool such as Quidco Compare to see if you could be making a saving. Plus you might get some cashback on top. Next up is food. So this is probably the easiest area to overspend in. Whether it's groceries, takeaways, eating out, I think everybody probably has some room for improvement in this area. It doesn't need to be all about deprivation either. Setting some rules and boundaries around your food spends means that you can make some savings without succumbing to deprivation either. So the next one in this area is debt. Not only is it a good idea to have your debts in order before making a mortgage application, it could also save you some money too. Generally, debt is quite expensive. If you have credit cards with high interest rates, then consider focusing on paying these off. Or alternatively, look to see if you can transfer the balance to a 0% credit card. So the next thing to focus on is how to improve your income. In the last section, I talked about creating space in your budget. Reducing your expenses is one way to do this, but increasing your income is another. Now this will be easier for some than it is for others. Trust me, I appreciate that. But realistically, there is a limit to how much you can achieve by reducing your spending. Even if you get to the point where you are spending nothing each month, you are still going to be limited by the amount of money that you have coming in. Whereas when it comes to increasing your income, there are no limits. So there are two ways that you can do this. So the first one is to get more money from your current job. And now I know that I am oversimplifying this, but it is a good starting point. Could you approach your boss and ask for a pay rise? Or could you pick up some additional hours or do some overtime? Is there a promotion available that you could go for? Or if your current workplace is not paying you fairly, could you look for a job elsewhere that is willing to compensate you as you rightly deserve? I've always operated on a don't ask, don't get system. Worst case situation is that you are in the current place that you're in now. Remember though that you are likely to need 3 to 6 months worth of bank statements and pay slips. So if you are getting close to that deadline, it might not be the best time to start looking for a new job. That said, more income is only going to help your mortgage application in the long run, and is going to put you in a better financial position going forwards. Number 2 is to start a side hustle. So think about ways that you can make money outside of your day job. You could start by just selling off your old stuff. Think about all the things that you don't want to be moving into your lovely new home and stick them on somewhere like eBay, Facebook or Vinted. A side hustle could be picking up another part-time job. Or you could look at the many ways that you can make money online. I've got lots of videos about this for you. So what other options are out there to help make this happen sooner? I thought it would be worth here talking about some of the ways that you can maybe accelerate this process and get to that moving in day just a little bit quicker. Now I've got 2 ideas for you here, but you will need to think carefully about whether either of them are right for you. Do your own research and make the decision for your personal situation. So the first one is lifetime ISAs. So this is one of the 4 main types of ISAs. And it can be used for 2 purposes, either retirement or, more relevant to this situation, is buying your first home. The main perk of this is the government will give you a 25% bonus up to a value of £1,000. So this means that if you pay £4,000 into your lifetime ISA, the government will top that up and make it £5,000. Therefore, you could get an extra £1,000 per tax year to go towards your first home. Plus, if you're buying with a partner and they meet the eligibility criteria too, then you could both be doing this, essentially getting £2,000 extra per year to go to that house. Now there are some rules around this, such as the value of the home and what counts as a first home. Now some important things to remember are that there is a penalty for withdrawing money from this account. So if you put money in, you have to know that you are going to be using this for your first home or for retirement if you're opening it for that reason. If you take money out, there is a chance that you can end up with less money than you put in. The account also has to be open for at least 1 year before you can use it. So if you are thinking about buying your home in the next 6 months, then this probably isn't the right option for you. If you're looking ahead in the future, it could be worth opening it now and sticking £1 in, just so you can get the clock ticking on that 1 year. So the other thing to think about is 95% mortgages. So they went away for a bit and now they're back, and this time they are government backed. So let's talk a little bit about the implications of this. So what this could mean for you is that you need to save less of a deposit. Rather than that 10-20%, you could be looking at just 5%. The mortgage application process itself won't be any different from if you had a bigger deposit. It's only really going to make a difference for the people that are providing the mortgages. As with all schemes like this, there are some rules. So in this case, it has to be your main residence and the value of the property cannot exceed £600,000. It also can't be a new build property. So before you make a decision about this, make sure that you check all of the criteria to make sure that it is something that is right for you. Now the things to consider here are that this is going to be an expensive mortgage. The higher the loan to value rate, the higher the interest rate that you will be paying. Plus this is going to be a huge loan too. Think carefully about whether you can afford a mortgage like this in the future, particularly if your circumstances are going to change or if there is an increase in the interest rates. So there you have it, a whole load of information about how to save money for a home whilst you are still renting. Having been in this position myself, albeit a while ago, I can say that it is an intense time, but it is definitely worth it in the end. As always, don't forget to check out the other videos that I have mentioned and leave me a comment below. Where are you at on your house buying journey? Or maybe you've been through this experience in the past and you have some pearls of wisdom you want to share. And there's always that subscribe button. It's a great way for you to show your support for this channel without it costing you a thing. Thanks for watching this video, and I will be back in a couple of days with another one. Bye.